Yeah, we can start. And for the song, we can do center field opening song.
Uh, yeah, okay, we'll do center field, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know what song you
Just
want to end on.
uh, I'll announce it when the time
Okay.
comes. Um, so I'm ready to go if you are.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Okay, and welcome to another episode of the Sports Pulse. I am Brian Brennan.
I'm Ethan Winter.
And starting off the show today, we have John Fogarty, formerly of Creedence Clearwater Revival, with center field to get things started because it is opening day across Major League Baseball. And I think everybody is, well, I mean, some teams haven't played yet, but I think everybody is, for the most part, just thrilled that baseball is back.
Is
And
it really opening day, though? Because I look outside and I see a blanket of white stuff on the ground.
70 degrees here, so it's opening day to me.
Ugh, I'm
I
so
can't
pissed. I
I
don't
can't
know if you
believe
saw my snap, Ryan, but I'm legitimately angry that it's snowing outside right now.
it's ridiculous that it's April 4th and it is snowing. Hard to believe that that's the weather forecast up in New England. Where I'm at in North Carolina, I don't mean to brag, but it's 70 degrees and it's been a really nice day all day. So
And
it's
it's and it's just flat out cold in Cleveland.
yeah, and that's where your team was playing, and my team's game got postponed as well in New York, where it's apparently raining like crazy. So it's the weather's been wreaking havoc a little bit on Major League Baseball. At least two games. I don't know if there were any more. I know there were definitely two games that were postponed, but um, definitely wreaking havoc on opening day. But it's a new season, which means it's time for our baseball preview. We're going to division by division, starting with the AL East because that's where our teams play. So we might as well start there and
Yep.
work our way down from there. So we'll start with the AL East because that one's the most personal to us. I don't think either of us had our respective favorite teams winning the division, which is kind of
No, we
surprising.
don't. And actually, we have this same exact order, and in my, or at least for the top three teams anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and I've actually started. I've changed my mind in a number of ways. For the longest time, I always thought that the Yankees would come in first, and then the Red Sox second, and Blue Jays third, because I really thought that the Blue Jays rotation would lose a lot by losing David Price. But the more that I thought about it, their rotation is still pretty solid. It's more solid than the Red Sox rotation, and their
And
offense is right, and the Yankees rotation. And their offense is incredible. I mean, with Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, Troy Tulowitzki. I mean, they
there's no
have
there's no easy out in the lineup, no matter
right,
where you 1 through 9.
right. And with that, I really think that is going to propel the Blue Jays to win the AL East for the second consecutive year. The one question mark though for the Blue Jays is their bullpen. Um, and both the Red Sox and the Yankees have better bullpens than the Blue Jays coming into this season. So, but that's the big question mark. So I have the blue for them. So I have the Blue Jays winning the division at 90-72. Then I have the Yankees because I believe that uh, the Yankees bullpen is still better than the Red Sox bullpen. I mean, I don't think it's an argument there. And I think while the Yankees rotation has a lot of question marks as well, especially surrounding CC Sabathia, I think their rotation is still slightly better or slightly than the Red Sox rotation, who they only have one pitcher really, and that's David Price, at least to start.
David
And
isn't a bad pitcher to have. I mean, David Price is one of the best in
right,
baseball.
Right, and absolutely, and I think he's going to win the Cy Young this year. But one pitcher does not a rotation make, and so there's a lot of
Minnesota.
question marks with the rest of the Red Sox rotation. I think Eduardo Rodriguez, who's starting the season on the disabled list right now, I think he's supposed to come back in mid-May, and I think he's going to uh, eventually be the number two starter in the Red Sox rotation. And I think once he gets back from injury, I think the Red Sox rotation is going to be a lot more solid and have a lot less question marks than it currently does. But I have the Yankees in second at 88 and 74. Red Sox just a game behind them at 87 and 75. And then the rest of the division have the Rays in fourth at 82 and 80, and the Orioles in last at 78 and 84. So once again, I think the AL East is going to be relatively competitive from top to bottom.
It really is. It's always been the most competitive division in the sport, as far as I'm concerned. I think the AL East is honestly the most fun,
Right.
best division. I mean, all the teams are good. For my prediction, like you said, I watched the Blue Jays Rays game yesterday, pretty much all of it, and I was as impressed as I was by the Blue Jays. I was significantly less impressed by the Rays. I mean, I thought they looked terrible, like from the get go yesterday. And I'm doing this backwards, by the way, because I have the Rays in last place at
Okay.
77 wins, and then I got the Orioles in fourth. I don't really. They didn't make too many moves. They traded for Mark Trumbo, which is a nice move. Again, the Orioles are going to have to compete with three really good teams. Those teams, I have the Red Sox total as you, 87 wins. There's a lot to like about the Red Sox, but there's a lot to not like about the Red Sox this season.
I.e., Pablo Fat Ass
Yeah.
Sandoval.
Sandoval, what the hell, man? I mean, he looks like he ate some of his teammates. I mean, that guy.
Like he
And
ate Dustin Pedroia.
yeah,
or Pedro's friend from the 2004 World Series, Nelson de la Cruz, the midget.
so it just Pablo Sandoval, it's been a disaster. You were talking about some trades that he might be involved in, but I don't know who would take the contract.
Well,
Uh,
I think the Padres would, and I think if a trade were to happen, the Red Sox would have to eat a majority of that contract, which I'm all for, by the way, because I think he's just a waste of space on the roster. And the fact that he's not starting, and also the fact that Rosny Castillo can't hit a fastball, actually causes some problems for the Red Sox in terms of their bench depth, because ideally you'd have both Travis Shaw and Brock Holt be playing multiple positions, giving different guys off with all of them. Brock Holt really can play pretty much any position. I think he would. I think he's the emergency catcher also. Um, so he can literally play anywhere. He's a super utility guy. And Travis Shaw, he can play first or third base, and also left field. So the fact that those two guys have to start every day, especially Holt, actually causes a lot of problems in terms of the Red Sox flexibility on the bench. Because really, if you bring Pablo Sandoval into pinch hit, he can only play third. He can't play anywhere else. Whereas if you have Brock Holt come into pinch run or pinch hit, you can literally stick him anywhere. Same with Travis Shaw. If you um, bring him in to pinch hit, you can stick him at first, third, or in left field. So the fact that Rosny Castillo can't hit a fastball and Pablo Sandoval just can't play anymore, really, because he's so fat, really causes some problems for the Red Sox in terms of their flexibility with their bench.
And so, moving on from that, I have my team, the Yankees, coming in second with 88 wins. You had the same win total, I think. Again, a lot. This is, I think you could describe any team in the AL East. At least you have a lot to like about them, and there's every team has its attractions. I feel, and we
Yes.
mentioned it with the Blue Jays bullpen being a question mark. The Yankees rotation is a big question mark as well. Um, but I still have them. The bullpen is just really, really good, and I have them and making a wild card game at the wins. And Toronto, I mean, they looked amazing yesterday. What's their pitcher? Stroman. He threw almost a complete game. He started to falter a little bit in the ninth, but he looked good. He was getting first pitch outs after first pitch outs after first pitch outs. So if he can turn into an ace, Toronto's going to be really good. With their lineup, I just think it's stacked. We mentioned it. They got Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, Troy Tulowitzki, and of course the reigning MVP and Josh Donaldson. So I'm going with the Blue Jays to make the playoffs for the second straight year. Back as Toronto native Drake say, 92 wins. And so that's my AL East prediction.
Yeah, really, I think we can come to a conclusion that you could, you could really flip flop the Red Sox and the Yankees between second and third, and you wouldn't get an argument from either of us either.
No. Like I said, a lot of teams, there's a lot to like about the Yankees. Like you were talking about the Red Sox, there's a ton of flaws with teams. So I don't think either of them really add up to a first place side. At the moment, at least, trade deadline, anything can happen. But
Right.
yeah, I can see the Blue Jays. Like, the Blue Jays went out and made moves last year. I'm sure they for David Price and Tulo. I'm sure they'd be willing to do it again too. So the AL East is very competitive. There's that all teams are solid, and I don't think the Rays are that good. You could say at least the first four teams are solid, and it's going to be competitive and fun to watch again, like it is every year.
All right. Now the
All right,
AL
so
Central.
Central, home of the defending World Series champion Kansas City Royals. Sorry, Royals. I have making playoffs, winning the division for the second straight year, making the playoffs for the third straight year. I have them at 90 wins. I think the Royals. Everybody commends the Royals, but they really are a hell of a team. I mean, during the playoffs, with all the amazing backs against the Astros in the division series and against the Mets in the World Series. So the Royals are fun to watch. A really good team. I can't believe people are actually still doubting the Royals and not picking them to make playoffs this year. To be honest.
Well, really, I think it's the projection sites that are down on the Royals for whatever reason.
Right.
I think the RotoWire or like Scout.com or Baseball Prospectus have them winning only 77 games, but I'm with you. I think until a team knocks them off its perch, you still have to give deference to the defending World Series champions, and I
And
have
there's
the Royals winning the division again for the third straight year, or second straight year, excuse me, and making the playoffs for the third straight year with a 92-70 record. Oh, Brian. And Brian's frozen. Um, but and then in
I'm
second. What?
I'm here, man.
Okay, now you're back.
Yeah, I was there.
Okay. Yeah,
But
you're
back to
coming
the Royals.
in and out a little bit. So
Yes, that's weird. But the Royals, I mean, they have to be the favorites in the AL Central just simply because of what they've done. They're now the defending World Series champions, and I mean, look at this. Like, they're my pick in the AL to make it World Series for a third straight year. I they have experience in.
Yeah, and
Or there's no reason they can't be as good as they were last year or the year before that even. Because they managed to manage Alex Gordon stayed, and I think they've got pretty much everybody locked at least for this season, and at least for next season as well. So the Royals will be good for a while, and yeah, I have them winning the division.
also that bullpen that they have is arguably the best bullpen in baseball. One of the best bullpens in the game, and like you said, Brian, they have a ton of young talent. Um, that and they have them locked up for a while. So the Royals should stay relevant for a while. As the Giants I just saw a highlight, and the Giants are
Yeah, me too.
absolutely
I'm
killing the
watching.
Brewers,
Yeah,
12-3. The rest of the AL Central, I have the Indians coming in second at 87 and 75. And then I have the Tigers at third, coming in at 83 and 79. And then the Twins in fourth at 78 and 84. And the White Sox at 76 and 86, rounding out the division.
same for pretty much AL Central as well. I have the Indians coming in second at 85 wins, Tigers at 83. Twins, who are actually surprised last season. I have them in fourth place. I'd like to see them prove me wrong. And I have the White Sox, who were just a disaster this spring training, and I think it's going to carry on to the field. I have the White Sox as one of the worst teams in baseball this season. And,
Yeah, I mean, they picked up Scott Frazier though in the off season, so I think Frazier's gonna help them from not being absolutely terrible. But I think that whole mess with Adam LaRoche, I think that's gonna have a huge effect on that team, and uh, in a negative way. So I think that clubhouse is going to be a mess. I feel like.
they were all on Adam LaRoche's side, and they were all on the side of his son as well. And
Although I've heard that wasn't exactly the case. I've heard that there were a few anonymous White Sox players who actually went to Kenny Williams and complained about Drake being there all the time. Um, which I mean I can understand. I mean you certainly can't. Major League Baseball players aren't going to be able to act themselves when a 14-year-old kid is around the clubhouse all the time, and so I'm sure that situation um, became a little uncomfortable for some players, but at the
right,
same time, with coming from Adam LaRoche's perspective, I'm sure LaRoche would have preferred had there been teammates that had an issue with Drake being in the clubhouse all the time, that he would have much rather preferred that his teammates come to him man to man as opposed to um, going to Kenny Williams, the GM and president of baseball operations, without talking to Adam first.
right. Personally, I was on the side of the White Sox in the situation, and people criticized me for that a little bit. But personally, I believe that a Major League Baseball dugout is not a daycare center. It's not
But he's
these
14.
players.
He's 14. It's not like he's a little kid.
I know, but that's the thing too. Doesn't he have like friends and a life to like go hang out with? Does he have to hang around a baseball team? Like, it seems to me almost like Adam LaRoche is one of those fathers. Feels like he needs his kid around all the time, and just like he almost seems like one of those dads you see on those shows where he's just like obsessed with his kid being the best and everything. Like, and I just personally thought that, and the White Sox didn't ask Adam LaRoche to stop bringing him to the dugout. They said basically just cut back a little bit. And Adam LaRoche took offense to that. And I always thought, and I just thought it was ridiculous. I thought the whole situation was just dumb. But
Yeah,
I did side with the White Sox on that.
yeah. I mean, it's certainly a weird situation between Adam LaRoche and his son, and also Adam LaRoche and the team. Um,
Right.
and so, I mean, it's a weird situation. Um, but yeah, I
It's
was
an
going to
uncomfortable
say something else about
situation.
it, but I kind of forgot what I was
It's
going to
an
say.
uncomfortable situation as well. It just didn't need to happen. It was completely unnecessary and just completely ridiculous. And it's dumb. And I think the White Sox are going to suck this year.
Yeah, I would
So moving
agree.
now to the AL West, which is another good division because you have three really good teams in that division. The surprising last year, Houston Astros, but they're not going to surprise anyone this year. They're a good team, and everybody knows it now. And the Texas Rangers, who made the playoffs last year as well as a divisional winner, surprised a few people. A lot of people think that either of those teams had a shot at the beginning of last year, and they both ended up making the playoffs. And of course, the Angels as well. It's hard to count them out ever when you've got talent like Mike Trout and slowly decaying Albert Pujols, but still Albert Pujols. So the AL West is interesting too. It's not as dominant as the AL East, but the AL West is a good division too. I have the Astros winning the division, like a lot of other people do. 95 wins this season, and I have Texas also making the playoffs with 90 wins.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brian. I have the Texas owns the West um, division with the Astros winning the division at 93 and 69, and um, the Rangers winning, going 90 and 72, coming in second and the first wild card um, spot, and having a home field for that wild card game. And then I have the Angels in third at 88 and 74. Mariners in fourth at 77 and 85. And then I have the A's coming in last at 70 and 92.
And just to round out my divisional picks in this one, I have the Angels missing the playoffs at 86 wins. Seattle Mariners coming in fourth, 75 wins, and the
Wait.
A's with
You have the
what?
Angels making the playoffs with 86 wins?
I have them missing the playoffs with
Oh,
86.
okay. I thought you said making.
No, I said missing.
Okay.
And to round it out, I have the A's at 71 wins, coming in last place again. It's a good division. Houston is that's another team that's loaded with young talent. A lot of people are picking Carlos to the AL MVP this year. I'm not one of them, but I can see why he's a stud. And Jose Altuve is a beast. The Astros are looking good this season. Dallas Keuchel, of course, who the Yankees get to face on opening day tomorrow. Won the Cy Young Award last year. And I think Houston's going to make the playoffs again. I think they're going to make the playoffs again for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, that's the Astros are definitely a nice, young, talented team that should remain contenders for for at least the next 5 years to come.
Right. Definitely. So flipping things over to the senior circuit now in the National League, going East, Central, West here. We'll start in the NL East, which is home to the defending National League champion, New York Mets, which is a sentence I never thought I would say again. Could not. If you had told me the Mets would be in the World Series last year, I would have laughed at you. But they made it to the World Series and they lost the Royals. But it was nice to see. I guess depending on who you are, it was nice to see the Mets in the World Series again.
The
And
There you go, Pat.
yeah, that's why I said depending on who you are. Uh, the Mets are loaded. I have them winning this division. I have them being the second best team in baseball this year. Uh, that rotation's filthy. I mean, last night to the Royals, but it's anytime you can throw a young stud out there 5 nights in a row. I mean, that that that's it's hard not to be high on the Mets this year because you got Harvey, uh, who's an ace, DeGrom, who is another ace, and Syndergaard, what's his name? Steven Matz and Zach Wheeler, who are all potential aces, and they kept Yoenis Cespedes. So
And they
I
have
am,
Bartolo coming out of the pen.
yes, and I am very high on the Mets this season to win the NL East again. The Mets have not, I don't think ever, or I think only once in their team history have they made the playoffs in back-to-back seasons. Um, and so I think this is going to be the second time, and I have them winning the division with 97 wins. Coming in second, I have the Nationals with 90 wins. I think I have them in the wild card. Yes, I do. I have them making the wild card. They are the second wild card in my pick. Coming after that, I've got the Marlins, who I think are actually pretty solid team. I like Don Mattingly, their manager, and I'm really interested to see how Barry Bonds does as their hitting coach, which I just think is ridiculous.
Well, the
I
funny
have,
thing is with Barry Bonds is that uh, he's arguably better than most of their lineup.
he probably still is better than most of their
Yeah,
lineup.
except for maybe Giancarlo Stanton, but he still won like a team home run derby contest.
Barry Bonds is, I mean, when you're that loaded up on steroids, you can probably do anything.
I
Um,
mean, I know Barry Bonds is 51 years old, but I would still, I kind of want to see him like catch on with an American League team and just be the designated hitter. I mean, that would,
That'd be an
I think that
interesting
would be
idea.
fun to watch.
That'd be an interesting idea. I just don't think he'd do it. I think he's. I think Barry Bonds is. I was a little surprised he took the hitting coach job. He had been kind of off the radar for the last couple of years, like
It's
completely.
kind
Like
of, it's kind of like trying to be a Mark McGuire.
he's trying to win the people back, which I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think that's ever going to happen
but
with Barry
to
Bonds.
be honest, I think you say that he's trying to win the people back. I think I'm one of the people that he's kind of won back. I mean, I'm not. I don't hate Barry Bonds like I did before. Like I'm not a hater. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame regardless. I mean, he's just. I don't know. I just like Barry Bonds now. I would like to see him uh, catch on with the American League team and be the DH.
I don't know what's going to happen, but
I mean, it's probably not going to happen, but I just think that would be fun to see. I mean, I love,
be hilarious.
yeah, and
I
I'm sure
Barry
he
Bonds
could. I'm
coming back.
sure Barry Bonds could still hit 275, hit 25 to 30 home runs, and drive in 90 runs at the age of
Well, I mean, he's
51.
been 9 years since he played in a major league game, so it's not like he retired yesterday. I mean,
Right.
he's been off. He's been out of baseball for a while now, and it's just interesting. It's just hilarious to have him back as the hitting coach for the Florida Marlins with Danny Baseball down there in South Florida, and then coming in fourth, I have the Braves. It's the last season at Turner Field. Pat and I are going to a couple games, so I'm pretty excited about
Oh,
that.
that would be cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. You know what's funny is one of the games has a post game concert by Flo Rida.
Wait, what?
One of the games that we're going to has a post game concert by Flo Rida.
Oh, that's funny.
It's awesome. I'm so excited. Um, but that doesn't mean the Braves are going to be good at all. I have them in fourth place, 74 wins, and in last place, I have the disaster that is the Philadelphia Phillies, 64 wins.
Yeah, I have the two worst teams in baseball in this division. I
Phillies.
have the Braves and the Phillies. And I'm going to go backwards like you did for the AL East. But I have the
Go ahead.
Braves coming in
Sure.
last at 64 and 98. And then I have the Phillies 4 games better at 68 and 94. And really, the NL East, this is a two-team race between the Mets and the
Yes.
Nationals. And I have the Marlins uh, way behind, a distant third at 78 and 84. And then I have the Mets winning the division with a 95 and 67 record. And then the Nationals grabbing uh, a wild card spot at 92 and 70.
The one thing I will say about the Mets that I'm looking forward to is I'm looking forward to seeing the younger guys because I know what Matt Harvey and Jacob deGrom can do, but I want to see what Noah Syndergaard and guys like that because I'll never forget Syndergaard throwing that first pitch at Alcides Escobar's head in the World Series last year. That made me a fan of him. I thought that was awesome. So I want to see him do well this year for the Mets. And the Nationals are going to be interesting too. I don't know if you saw it, but Bryce Harper is now homered. He homered today. He's homered in 4 straight season openers now, and he's played in 4 season openers in his career. So Bryce Harper, unanimous MVP last year. Obviously, Nationals, it's good to have him, but I have them going to make the top card. All right.
Yeah.
So moving on to the NL Central, and this has arguably 3 of the best teams in baseball. And let's start with the one that everybody is talking about, the Chicago Cubs, who I have winning the division and making it to the World Series for the first time since 1945. And I think this is the Cubs' year. And they're just loaded from top to bottom. I'm not the only person who thinks that. I mean, these guys are loaded offensively. They have a great pitching staff, solid bullpen. There's not one area of the Cubs that you look at and go, "Oh, that sucks." Like they're not good there. There's everything. Like people, like a good friend of ours, Stephen Weatherhill. He's a big Cardinals fan. He keeps asking me why everybody's so high on the Cubs. Well, it's impossible not to see. The Cubs are loaded.
Yeah, I mean, they have a strong pitching rotation. It's not as good as the Mets, but you have John Lester, John Lackey, uh, former
Jake
Cy
Arrieta.
Young winner, or reigning Cy Young winner rather, Jake Arrieta. I mean, that's a phenomenal front three of your rotation.
I
Um,
think.
and then you have uh, Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, Kyle Schwarber, whose defense is a little shaky. They don't really have a position for him with the Cubs. But I mean, they have a great young core of players, just like
And
the Astros and the Royals,
a
and
lot
even
of
the
people are
Mets.
saying, a lot of people are saying that it's going to be like Cubs and the Astros for like the next 10 years in baseball. And you can throw the Mets into there too, and you can throw a couple of other teams, but I think this is the team to watch this year. If you're like looking for a team to watch, it's the Cubs. I mean, it's going to be fun. And Joe Madden's a great manager. He won Manager of the Year last year. And I have the Cubs just so we can get rolling with our division picks here. I have the Cubs winning 103 games and win the division. I have the Cardinals lost Jason Hayward to the Cubs, but are still a pretty solid young team. They have a lot of really good young guys that not a lot of people talk about, like Colton Wong and guys and Tommy Pham and players like that. So I have the Cardinals coming in second and making the 92 wins. The Pirates, I think, are another really good team. Like you said, or like we said earlier, you could say that 3 of the best teams in baseball come from this division. But I have the Pirates missing the playoffs barely with 88 wins. And then the last 2 teams in the division are bad. The Brewers, 7-9, and the Reds I might have given the Reds too many wins because
Yeah,
they're
I
not.
thought you gave him 77. I think that's a
That's way too
bit
many.
high. I
More
thought,
like 7.
yeah. Want me to change that?
Yeah, just replace that 7 with a 6.
So they're 67 and 95. Um, but yeah, I think 103 wins is too high for the Cubs. I think that's a little high. But I do still have the Cubs with the best record in baseball at 98 and 64. Um, and then I have the Cardinals just missing the playoffs at 90 and 72. The Pirates right behind them at 89 and 73. And then I have the Brewers at 74 and 88. And then the Reds. I did have them at 70 and 92. I think I'm going to change that to 69 and 93. No,
Seems
I'm
fitting.
gonna keep them at 70 and 92. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's my NL Central right there.
3 really good teams in the division. So moving out west to another division that's got 3 really good teams. It's an even year, so that means the San Francisco Giants are in line to win the World Series. Uh, as if you don't know about the trend, it's the Giants have won 3 of the last 5 World Series, or I think it's 3 of the last 6 World Series, but they've won it every other year. So 2010, 2012, 2014, and if history dictates anything, they're in line to win it again this year. I have them winning the division. They've made a couple nice moves. They had Johnny Cueto and Jeff Samardzija to already go to a rotation that has one of the best in the game in Mad Bum. So I got the Giants at 92 wins. The Dodgers, I mean, they lost Zach Greinke this offseason, and I think that's going to be a big blow to the team. I have them at 88 wins because they are still talented, and I'm interested to see how Dave Roberts does as their manager. I thought that was an interesting hire that they didn't go with somebody with more experience, but it might end up being a good hire from the Dodger team. Then I got the Diamondbacks who changed their uniforms. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen their uniform changes out
Yeah,
there?
I think it's interesting. I think they should just go back to their early
Original teams.
2000s uniforms with the purple and teal.
They should just go back to their original uniforms. I've always been a fan of first Diamondbacks uniforms, but
Right.
I have them in third place. I have them at I think 85 might be too high, so I'm going to give it 83 wins. And then after that, the Rockies, who are they can always hit, but pitching at Coors Field is always a nightmare. So I have them at 77, and the Padres with 73.
Yeah, I have the Giants winning the division at 93 and 69, and then I have the Dodgers. I don't know how the tiebreakers are going to work, but I have the Dodgers uh, getting that second wild card over the Cardinals at 90 and 72. And then I have the Diamondbacks in third at 87 and 75. Padres in fourth at 78 and 84. And then the Rockies in last at 70 and 92.
All right, so that's the division by division picks. I'll just we'll make the playoffs as quick as possible. Why don't we? We'll have who we have in the league championship series and then the World Series predictions as well.
Well,
Uh,
I think we could just say who we have winning. We don't have to say how many games. Just say who we have winning the series ultimately.
that's
Real
fine.
quick.
All right, that's fine. So in the wild card games, I think the Dodgers beating the Cardinals and the Rangers beating the Yankees. Uh,
Whoa, no, you
no,
don't.
no, I don't. This is old. What am I looking at here?
Brian's lying. But
I totally am on
yeah,
the Cardinals over the Nationals, right?
yes.
Yeah, so that's what I actually had. The Cardinals over the Nationals. And then when the divisional round happens, I Lone Star State showdown. The Astros over the Rangers in It's all right.
Wait,
And
what?
the Royals over the Blue Jays.
Okay.
And the National League, I've got the Cubs over the Cardinals and the Mets over the Giants. League Championship Series rematch of last year, Cubs Mets. This time the Cubs win. And then in the ALCS, I have the Royals making their third straight World Series, beating the Astros. And then in the World Series, the drought finally comes to an end after 108 years. I have the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series over the Royals.
All right. I in the AL wildcard playoff game, I like you have the Rangers over the Yankees. And then in the NL wildcard playoff, I have the Nationals over the Dodgers. In the ALDS, I have the Astros over the Rangers and the Blue Jays over the Royals. And then I have in the NLDS, I have the Cubs over the Nationals, Giants over the Mets. And then in the ALCS, I have the Blue Jays over the Astros. Uh, NLCS, I have Cubs over the Giants. And I, like you, after 108 years, Theo Epstein becomes the first man and only man to not only one curse, but two curses as the Chicago Cubs win the World Series over the Toronto Blue Jays after 108 years of no championship in Chicago for the Cubs.
Finally, we both finally have it ending. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a Cubs fan. Cubs fans everywhere have to be excited for this season, and good reason. We both have them ending the drought.
And then, of course, because the Cubs being the Cubs, with all this hype, the Cubs are probably going to lose 92 games.
Well, yeah, that's just how it works. That's how it works when you're the Cubs.
Yeah.
All right, so that pretty much covers baseball. Moving on to the other big sporting news that's happening currently
Well,
is.
and then did you want to do the postseason awards real quick?
All right, let's do that quick.
All right.
Uh,
So for my AL MVP, I have Mike Trout of the Angels, and then in the National League MVP, I have Anthony Rizzo of the Cubs winning NL MVP. For my AL Cy Young, I have David Price winning, and the NL Cy Young, I have Jacob deGrom of the Mets. And then AL Comeback Player of the Year,
Dominator.
well, I have Yu Darvish. NL Comeback Player of the Year, I have Adam Wainwright. Rookie of the Year in the American League, I have Byron Buxton of the Minnesota Twins. And then in the NL Rookie of the Year, I have Corey Seager of the Dodgers. And then AL Manager of the Year, I do have Joe Girardi of the Yankees. And then NL Manager of the Year, I have Dusty Baker of the Nationals.
All right, so my picks. I also have Mike Trout winning the MVP, second of his career, and I also have a Cub winning the MVP, but it's not Anthony Rizzo. I have Chris Bryant, his third baseman. AL Cy Young Award, I'm going to keep it with the same guy who won it last year, Dallas Keuchel, and in the NL, I have Clayton Kershaw. Managers of the Year, I have Joe Girardi from the Yankees and Joe Maddon from the Cubs. Rookies of the Year, Byron Buxton of the Twins, who going to be a future stud for many years to come. And Steven Matz of the Mets is my Rookie of the Year, kind of the forgotten guy on the Mets rotation. Comeback Player of the Year, the same two as you, Darvish and Adam Wainwright. And yeah, that covers it.
All right, that's your baseball preview. We'll come back, check in at the halfway point, and see where we're at. And then we'll see where we're at the end of the season.
It's probably going to be the exact opposite of everything we picked. It's probably going to be like the Padres win the World Series or something, some random team.
Yeah.
That's how baseball works. But moving on now to the NCAA National Championship, which is tonight at the ridiculous start time of 9:19 p.m. You have the North Carolina Tar Heels against the Villanova Wildcats to close out what's been a very good NCAA tournament, except for the last two games. It's been a very good and enjoyable NCAA tournament.
It hasn't been very enjoyable for me because my bracket was toast on the second day.
Oh yes, I forgot
and
about that.
and I have like a career worst bracket score of 54 points. Like I've never done this bad ever.
It's, I mean, my bracket was busted as soon as Kansas lost, and a lot of people, like you included, were eliminated pretty much the second that Michigan State went out of the tournament. And so, yeah, it's the national championship is tonight. It's very late, as I said, and UNC is going for their, I know it's their third championship. It would be their third under Roy Williams, who I think is, and I'm a little biased living in North Carolina. I want to see North Carolina win, but I think Roy Williams is a great head coach, and Jay Knight of Villanova is as great in his own right too. But I think that Williams is, Coach K, one of the best in the country, and I think he will get his third national championship as head coach of the Tar.
Yeah, I'm with you, Brian. I think the Tar Heels of North Carolina are going to win the national championship. Just the way that they exposed that Syracuse trap, that trap helped Syracuse overcome and make that incredible comeback over Virginia, in the Elite Eight. That was impressive. Just the way that they were able to compose themselves, even when Syracuse brought the deficit to within 8. North Carolina just maintained their composure. They didn't panic like Virginia and a lot of other teams have done in this tournament against Syracuse. And they were able to expose it and get a lot of easy baskets by finding the open man within that trap and that press that Syracuse had. So I think, it's not going to be close either. The game tonight, as great a run as Villanova has played in the tournament and a great season that they've had, I have a feeling that this is going to be like the national championship game in, I want to say, 2008 between North Carolina and Michigan State.
2009.
Okay, that was 2009.
I've been reminded of the last few times North Carolina has won the national championship like 1,000 times in the last 2 days.
Yeah, so I think North Carolina is going to win 90-72.
I could see North Carolina winning this game easily. They are not just a really good team, but they're a veteran team, and I think a lot of people kind of discount the veteran presence of some of these guys. They've been here. A lot of the guys stayed through 4 years. Marcus Page, Bryce Johnson. I mean, these guys are. And North Carolina is a great basketball program, and I don't think they get enough credit for the fact that a lot of people don't just go to North Carolina for the one and done. Like UNC develops guys, and they have a lot of guys like Ice and Page who stay the full 4 years, and I think that there's a lot to be said about that. And Villanova is kind of the same, so it's nice to see them both in the national championship game. And I think UNC is going to win. I don't know if it's easy, but like you said, it could be a blowout game. UNC, it's definitely the best team for me. It's the best team in this tournament.
And also, I think it's going to be close in the first half, but then I think North Carolina is just going to break away in the second half. And another thing with their win over Syracuse is that, and in general, North Carolina is a terrible 3-point shooting team.
Yep.
But it's amazing
They score most of their points.
when they hit their 3-pointers, they are at like the most clutch moment that, like, if you need a 3-pointer and you're North Carolina, you're going to get it. And even if you hadn't made a 3-pointer the entire game, it's just amazing how and uncanny it is at how clutch North Carolina is with the 3-point shooting. It's just unbelievable to me, and
Definitely.
it's so great.
It's definitely, and you can probably tell we both kind of want to see UNC win this game. I mean, I have a soft spot for the Tar Heels. I'm sure you do too, just because
Yeah,
of North Carolina.
I've always kind of liked UNC.
You did have a UNC shirt. I do
I
remember
did,
that. You
yeah.
were pretty regularly. I don't, but I mean, I'm a High Point fan, but I would like to see UNC win the national championship tonight. Make top story tomorrow a lot easier if they do. Um, yeah, good luck to the Heels, and covers NCAA basketball tournament.
Yeah, and then on in women's basketball, you have UConn, and then playing Syracuse in the national championship. I wonder what team Pat would be rooting for.
That's a good question. Pat, you've got like a minute here to text us and tell us which team you're rooting for between Syracuse and UConn, but I'm pretty sure it's Syracuse because he did say you would root for Syracuse against High Point in some sports. So
Yeah,
I was surprised.
but yeah, the UConn women, they're 10-0 in the national championship game. So, and they've like beat every team in the tournament this year by an average of like 20 points at least, 25
It,
points, probably closer to 30 actually.
and a lot of people are upset about UNC, or I'm sorry, about UConn dominating like this. I mean, this is unprecedented. Pat says he's definitely rooting for Syracuse, by the way.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's fair because UConn's won it fucking a million times in a row. So
Right.
it's UConn dominates the sport, and people are getting upset, and I understand that because it takes away from the competitive advantage of the sport when you've got one team that's just dominating like UConn, and it's been this way for pretty much the last 20 years now. I mean, Tennessee was good for a while, but now just UConn, and it's.
But at the same time, though, and I say this about pretty much the Patriots or any other team that's really good in their sport. If you don't like it, then
Win.
you have to make your team better so you can beat them. I mean, it's just simple as that, in my opinion. And yeah, I guess the recruiting is a little bit different with women's basketball or in college in general, something that you don't get in pro sports. But I mean, yeah, basically, if you don't like it, then do something about it. Same thing with the touchdown dances or the guys flipping their bat and pimping their home runs. If you don't like it, then don't give up a home run next time,
Right.
or
That's what
don't let them
Newton's
score.
Cam Newton
It's
this year.
yeah. So it's really, to me, it's as simple as that. You don't get mad at UConn for being so good. If you don't like it, just you got to do a better job and make yourself better to make it closer, or at the very least, or to just or beat them.
Yeah.
Um,
I agree.
yeah. So, and I guess we lost Pat there, but that's no. Now he's back. Um, but yeah. So
He
yeah.
probably hung up as soon as you said Patriots.
But it's true. It illustrates my point. I mean,
But
and also
I agree.
people for some reason like hate greatness. Why can't we just appreciate greatness when it's right in front of us? Like that's where I'm at, and maybe it's because I kind of understand it being a Patriots fan, and like everyone hates the Patriots because they're so good.
I
But
get it.
really, like you're probably never going to see a team like the Patriots or like a Yukon ever again. So why don't you just, even if you don't like them, just appreciate it, appreciate the greatness while it lasts. That's my standpoint on it. But
Yeah.
and
All right.
I'm sure you have a similar experience being a Yankee fan too.
I do. I do. I understand it. You just appreciate how good UConn is, and I understand why people. I and this is a point that I actually heard. It was made very well by the Buffalo. You saw the Buffalo Bills 30 for 30. They
Yeah,
talk about how it just kind of got old after a while, and for some people, and I get that because it gets repetitive when you've got the same team in the Super Bowl 4 years in a row, or the same team in the national championship game, however many years UConn's made it now,
right.
and it's yeah.
And people think UConn is ruining the sport. Well, what about UCLA back when John Wooden coached? UCLA back then it was pretty much the UConn of men's basketball, and look at how good men's basketball is now in college sports.
Yeah.
So who knows? Maybe 20 years from now, women's college basketball is going to be more competitive because of how great UConn was.
Maybe it'll inspire more people to play. They want to
Right.
be like the Huskies. They want to play for UConn. And I am a UConn fan. I want to make that clear. And I want to see them win the national championship again, just because of I am a UConn fan. But I definitely understand any detractors that may exist against UConn winning it.
And I've also heard that UConn, unlike a lot of other schools or most schools, really, they actually invest a lot of money into the women's basketball program. They treat their women's basketball
Yeah.
program like a lot of schools treat their men's basketball program. There's like waiting lists for women's basketball season tickets. Like women's basketball is a huge deal at UConn, and
It's a
maybe
huge.
if team and I'm sure that helps a lot with their recruiting. Not to mention that they're always good. So maybe
Exactly.
if teams actually start to other schools actually start to invest a little bit more money into their women's program in addition to their men's program, maybe they'll actually get better at recruiting and actually have a better product on the floor.
Yeah. I agree. That's the ultimate goal. So moving on, or heading on to our walk offs now. Would you like to go first, Ethan?
No, you can go.
Okay. So I just want to talk about. I don't usually get political on the sports at least, but I want to talk for a second about the sports, how House Bill 2 in North Carolina relates to sports, and it could passing this law like the North Carolina Assembly did last week or 2 weeks ago, however long ago it was, it has a far-reaching impact on everybody, and including sports. Now there's talk that Charlotte could lose the NBA All-Star game this season, and that affects me. That's almost where the line. And House Bill 2 is an abomination to me. I think it's the worst thing that. I mean, it makes me so angry. I can't see sometimes. But one of the straws that broke the camel's back for me was that there's a talk that the NBA would move the NBA All-Star game next year from Charlotte to Atlanta. And that is something that I absolutely do not want to see happen. And I would be absolutely furious if that actually happened, because it's amazing because politics and sports should not go together like that, especially a situation like this. I mean, what happened with House Bill 2 does not represent everybody who's in Carolina, and punish the good people of Charlotte by taking away an event that could bring in millions of dollars for the city and millions of dollars for the state as well, Governor. And the fact that they would even consider that just pisses me off. I think it's ridiculous. And this is my plea to the NBA to consider or to not take the All-Star game out of Charlotte. Leave it in the Queen City for next season. And because you know that North Carolina, we are not this. That's the statement everybody keeps saying. We are not what House Bill 2 represents. And NBA needs to learn that. Keep the All-Star game in Charlotte. That's all I have to say.
I mean, I've been to Charlotte a few times. I love city of Charlotte. It's a great city. I think it's a cool
and you should
city.
be allowed to use whatever bathroom you want. I would like to add that too.
Or you should be able to use whatever bathroom you identify yourself with.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably what you meant.
That is what I meant.
Yeah.
Whatever bathroom you feel comfortable in is the one you should use. And I am as vehemently against House Bill 2 as you can possibly be. It makes me sick to my stomach. And yeah.
All right. So I actually kind of have two walk-offs, but I'll first start with this. Friday night, you saw the Celtics on national television and the Golden State Warriors home winning streak of 54 games. This was a statement game for the Celtics, and they just clinched a playoff berth last night after beating the Lakers. And this is my. I mean, we've had Sean make his pitch to Kevin Durant before, but this is my pitch to Kevin Durant once for I believe the second time. The Celtics are a team that is rising and is knocking on the door of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Toronto Raptors. They are the Celtics are legitimately one star away from being serious Eastern Conference contenders and even NBA final contenders also. And you know how difficult the West is. You have the Golden State Warriors, you have the San Antonio Spurs. And I mean, so why not come out to Boston with 17 banners, the most in NBA history, have a chance to win banner 18 and more. And I mean, LeBron starting to go on his decline soon, and really the Eastern Conference is not as strong as the Western Conference. So if KD, if you come to Boston, it's going to be the Celtics and the Cavaliers. That's it. You'll have a lot easier road to the NBA Finals, and if the Celtics can beat the Golden State Warriors without Jay Crowder against a fully healthy, pretty much Golden State Warriors team in Golden State in Oakland, then just imagine what the Celtics can do with a legitimate star. Not that Isaiah Thomas isn't one, but a star of your caliber, Katie. So consider Boston. Boston's, for whatever reason, historically has not done well on the free agent front. But please, the Celtics are probably one of your best chances to win an NBA title if you come to Boston. Just consider us. That's all we're asking. And then my second walk off is um, it's ridiculous that it's snowing on April 4th on what's supposed to be opening day um, for baseball. And the last thing that I want to do is right now on April 4th is go outside and snow blow my driveway, but that's what I'm gonna have to do, and I'm pissed. So that's all I have to say.
All right. Thank you for joining us for our baseball preview, and good luck to North Carolina tonight. Hope they take home the championship. Taking us out this week, we have Lil Bow Wow featuring Lil Wayne from the movie Hardball. It is the song Hardball about baseball. Taking us out. Have a good one, everybody.